Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and Superstars. Spoilers. Don't even know it's on the network. But anyways, Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Rob Van Dam was scheduled to return to WWE next Monday, the night after WrestleMania. Also reporting that WWE has booked travel arrangements for RVD. And he will be with them during WrestleMania 30 weekend. They say his return to WWE TV is imminent. The son of Chris Benoit, David Benoit, gives his first interview with the wrestling gurus about WrestleMania 30 and various topics. Below are a few highlights, along with a video you can watch at the link here. He believes his father, Chris Benoit, should be inducted into our WWE Hall of Fame. He said we should focus more on the pros than the cons. He confirms his training for a pro wrestling career, but would not want to go to TNA because everyone tells him that's a bad place to work. And then he comments on saying that WWE never gave his family the last paycheck that his father had earned. Dragon Gate USA sent out the following news. It is with deep regret that Dragon Gate USA must meet to inform our audience of the unfortunate fact that Dragon Gate Japanese talent will not be able to perform on WrestleMania weekend shows. We have prepared a series of replacements, and we have already announced the first time ever matchup pitting Masato Tanaka against Chris Hero on Friday night at the Dragon Gate USA show. The entire pro wrestling world converges on New Orleans this week. The last thing our audience wants to hear about is promotional drama. We know you have practically unlimited choices this coming week, and we're going to make sure those who have chose to support Dragon Gate USA are rewarded with the best experience we can possibly provide. Here are some of the replacements. Low Key will make his return to Dragon Gate USA after his retirement announcement and have his first high-profile match in over a year at Friday nights and Saturday nights events. It will be Low Key versus Trent Beretta at dgusa on Friday, and Low Key versus Open, the Freedom Gate champion, Johnny Gargano at dgusa on Saturday. Bad influence of Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian will wrestle at dgusa event on Saturday, and they will have a top tag team for them to face. This will be a special main event for the live ticket holders and will not be on iPay-per-view or DVD. Daniels and Kazarian's opponents will be determined after the results of the six-man tag team tournament that night. They will be the best possible opponents, and it is sure to be a unique experience when these TNA superstars invade. Here's a scheduled card for Friday's show, April the 4th. Open, the Freedom Gate Championship match. Of course, Johnny Gargano versus Ricochet. International Dream match, Chris Hero versus Masato Tanaka. Special attraction match, Low Key versus Trent Beretta. Tag team challenge match. If Bravados retain at Evolve, it will be a title match. The Bravado brothers versus Anthony Nese and Caleb Conley. For those who don't remember, Anthony Nese is former TNA talent. Special tag team attraction match, Chuck Taylor and Drew Gulak versus Fire Rat and Green Ant. Grudge match, AR Fox versus Mr. A. Special challenge match, Rick Swan versus Vic Busick. Dragon Gate USA, Mercury Rising 2014 on April 5th. Here's a card for that event. Special main event for live crowd only, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian versus to be determined. Special attraction match, Johnny Gargano versus Low Key. Six-man traditional continues. DGUSA Mercury Rising is known for the six-man tag team tradition. So they're taking it to the next level this year with a six-man tag main event. Each member of the winning team will get to book themselves in any future matches they want. The format will see 3 first-round matches. 3 winners will then meet in a 3-way six-man Tag Team Mega Elimination Match. And here are the first round matches for that. First round match, Ricochet, Rick Swann, and R. Fox versus Chris Hero, Roderick Strong, and mystery opponent. 6-man tournament, match number 2, Bravado Brothers and Moose versus Fire Ant, Green Ant, and Lance Dorado. Match number 3, Trent Beretta, Anthony Nese, and Caleb Conley versus the Gentleman's Club. And in the tournament finals is an elimination match. Winner of match number 1, versus winner of match number 2 versus winner of match number 3. And thanks to the source of wrestling-news.net. Y2J recently spoke with the Bossa Herald. Jericho says that WWE did reach out to him to work the show, but he turned it down. Below are some of the highlights. What's on his WrestleMania 30 status? I'm not part of it and won't be a part of it. And it was my choice to sit out this year. What it takes for him to return? If I'm going to be at WrestleMania, it's going to be in a position that I can sink my teeth into, a position that I think is significant enough for somebody of Y2J's experience, level, and notoriety. Looking at the card this year, and you see everybody who came back, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker are back. Triple H is back, Batista is back. It's the ascension of Daniel Bryan. How many spots are there available for Jericho at this point in time? Even though the shadow of WrestleMania was looming, just to be there is not a reason enough for me to go back. On the last 4 WrestleManias for the last year, I had one of the main events or one of the most prominent matches on the show. Unless I'm going to get that position again, I'm not even going to be there. I'm not saying I'm entitled to it. But if it's not going to go that way, then it's just better be, I'll just stay home. So, and for the criticism over the most recent return, it's not a choice that I make, but I do what my boss tells me to do. People who said, well, Jericho just came back to lose all the young guys. To all the young guys. Well, I really didn't. I lost a couple of prominent matches on pay-per-view, and suddenly everyone is saying, well, Jericho is just putting over the young guys. That's not the case. That was never the case. I beat Daniel Bryan last year. No one talks about that. To me, whatever the boss wants, I'll do it. I know I'm going to make it good. I'm going to make it great. People are still going to like it. But what I felt, when I'm getting too much in a rut, when they say Jericho is here so he can just put over this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, I was not going to do that. So I went away for a while, and then we'll see what happens. Last year, working with Fandango wasn't my first choice. I wasn't happy about it at first, but either I do it or I don't go to WrestleMania. Once Vince makes up his mind, you're doing it. So I have 2 choices. You go home, or I can make this the best I possibly can and try to get this kid over that no one's ever seen before. And then he comments on who he would like to face this year. Of course, as a heel Chris Jericho, I'd love to work with Daniel Bryan. We could tear the house down. That could still happen. A lot of times I'll hear I could never be a heel again because people like me too much. But put me in the ring with a baby face that is over, and as Daniel Bryan and I'll show you some heel stuff that nobody there is doing right now because no one knows to do it. I requested to work with Cesaro, and we had a 30-minute match in Tokyo last year and killed it. And last year I did one show with NXT and requested to work with Bray Wyatt, and we had a great match. So those are 3 guys I'd like to work with. And that was most of those highlights. Kickstarter being promoted by Ted DiBiase Jr. to fund his Price of Fame documentary on his father. Currently has 86 backers and has raised $5,484. And the link can be here of the $30,000 goal within 24 days to go. And of course, you can look at the video. In case you missed it, WWE announced on the network press release that Ryback and Curtis Axel versus Los Matadors versus Cesaro and Swagger versus the Usos fatal 4-way dance for the tag team titles will take place on the pre-show. at WrestleMania. It will air exclusively only on the WWE Network, but you could probably catch it on Ringside News /video chat. On Thursday, a judge in Tampa, Florida dismissed a lawsuit against WWE and several other defendants by wrestler Brian Jack over injuries he allegedly suffered in a WWE developmental ring back in 2009. It was dismissed because of Jack's failure to serve any of the defendants in a timely manner. I mean, when you ask for three requests for continuous because he didn't get them in time, of course they're going to dismiss it. Jack named several stars of WWE and Steve Keirn of Steve Keirn Inc., aka Florida Championship Wrestling, NXT, and additional John and Jane Doe to be named in September 2013. Well, on March 21st of this year, he filed an updated lawsuit that included Kristen Altman, Scott Aman, James Andrews, Ty Bailey, Richard Blood, whose real name is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Gerald Briscoe, Anthony Corelli, Santino Morella, Pierre Claremont, Pete Gruner, that's Billy Kidman's real name, John Laurinaitis, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, NXT Wrestling, David Otunga, Tom Pritchard, Robert Remus, that's our Sergeant Slaughter for those that don't know, you better call somebody, and Virgil Runnels, that's the real name of Dusty Rhodes, and of course Norma Smiley. Jack filed a motion to extend the time needed to serve the defendants on March 25th, but was refused by the court. They received an extension to serve defendants back in January, after initially filing the lawsuit in September 2013, which was the third time the suit in some form has been filed. WWE's website has a new article up looking at 10 WrestleMania matches that almost happened, and here's the 10 that are listed. Mr. McMahon versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania 7. That's 17, it should be. IRS, the Head Shrinkers, Rick Martel and Jeff Jarrett versus Tatanka, the Smoking Guns, Bob Sparkplug Holly, and 1-2-3 Kid. That was at WrestleMania 10. Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan, WWE Championship match at WrestleMania 8. Mike Tyson versus Triple H, boxing match at WrestleMania 17. Razor Ramon versus Goldust, a Miami Street fight at WrestleMania 12. Big Show versus Shaq at WrestleMania 28. John Cena versus Jay-Z and Fabulous. Battle Rap at WrestleMania 19. Kane versus X-Pac at WrestleMania 2000. And Mankind versus Vader at WrestleMania 13. And finally, least but not last of all, Stone Cold versus Hollywood Hogan at WrestleMania 18. WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons recently sat down, and there's a video on it. It'll be posted here. You can check for yourself. As he sat down with Steve and the Scum on WGD Weekly for an insightful hour-long interview spanning his trailblazing career in the professional wrestling business. Simmons touched on all points throughout his journey in the world of sports entertainment. The entire interview, again, at the link. Highlights from Ron's appearance on WGD Weekly included him touching on the significance of becoming the first African-American world champion in WCW. Out of everything what I've accomplished in professional wrestling, that, without any doubt, tops the list. As I have stated before, once we leave this earth, man or woman, we want to be known or leave something behind that is good for mankind. Period. And that, to me, was the best gift I could have been given, not only to my race, but to any aspiring wrestler or any aspiring to do the best in anything that they can do. At the time, there wasn't many African Americans in the business, and then for myself to become along and be the one, while not setting out to be that one, or the trailblazer, or the first to wear the heavyweight title belt. It means a lot to me to see the other guys like Booker T or Mark Henry who have come after me, for them to come up to me and say, thank you, Ron, for inspiring me and opening the door for me to get an opportunity to pursue my dreams. That's what sums the whole 30 years of this business that I have been in the ring. That's what makes it all worthwhile. And then he comments on who he feels deserves to be in the Hall of Fame that has not yet been inducted. My brother, as to say, at some point he definitely has to go in there where there's a tag team or the singles. He has a world champion there and numerous world championship tag teams there with myself, and that's my partner, Bradshaw, also known as JBL, Justin Hawk Bradshaw. Sitting down with Vince McMahon and being pitched the Farouk Assad gimmick. We sat down and we started going over things. We thought about it, how I was going to be presented it in my gimmick. So he said, this is when I sat down with my team and envisioned you as. Now, this was far, far from my mind, but he pulls the drawings out and says, I see you as this gladiator, as this Spartan. Now, so far, I'm thinking, man, this is great. I can get with that. He then starts to show me more and more, and he says, and this will be something like what you'll be wearing. this helmet right here, it's made out of leather. So at first I'm waiting there, I'm waiting for him to laugh or joke, because I'm laughing at this point and I'm thinking this guy has a good sense of humor. He's ribbing me. So as I'm laughing, I'm looking at his face and I think, oh God, he is serious. So my face goes right back to the poker face right then, and then I can say, I think that this is great. That is fantastic, and I will be the best thing I've ever done. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I can't believe this. He and Bradshaw having to welcome incoming talent to the WWF that may have not had the best attitude coming in. There was a lot of truth to that. Absolutely. There were guys that came there from other organizations that perhaps they thought should just skip everybody else and skip right to the top and have things the right way that they wanted. I mean, hey, there are rules and things you have to abide by as far as this business goes, and you have to respect those. But when you don't respect those, then hey, we have a problem. So yes, we had a lot of guys come in with that attitude, and John and I have to be called up to let them know, hey, that is not how it works here. In addition to these points, Ron also discussed how many other points in his illustrious career, including his football days at Florida State, and then in the NFL and USFL, meeting Hiro Matsuda in Florida to begin his wrestling career, then moved to the NWA/JCP and being paired with Butch Reed as Doom. That, to me, was his best tag team, wearing the mask while competing as Doom, and working with both Woman and Teddy Long as their managers. The singles run that led him to being surprised to hear that the brief period of time working for Paul Heyman and ECW, how he was approached to join the WWF, a hilarious road story of himself and Bradshaw driving in a snowstorm with Teddy Long, the Nation of Domination being created, watching The Rock develop into a superstar as part of the Nation, his friendly wages between himself and The Rock over their alma maters, Florida State and Miami, getting teamed up as the Acolytes with Bradshaw, and the fun time APA had with the different backstage card playing and cigar smoking segments, the origins of his catchphrase, damn, and his favorite damn moments, being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame and so much more. And WGD Weekly with Steve and the Scum interviews a different legend from wrestling's glory days every week as part of their show. And you find the previous shows and get updates and information on upcoming and programming on their Facebook page at facebook.com/WGD Weekly, or go to Twitter and their Twitter account at WGD Weekly. Well, WWE taped Kofi Kingston versus Heath Slater in Washington, D.C. on Monday night for Superstars prior to Raw. Sheamus versus The Miz and Tamina Snuka versus Nikki Bella were taped also for the main event. And also taped for Friday SmackDown with Titus O'Neil versus Dolph Ziggler, Los Matadors versus Cesaro, and Jack Swagger. The only 2 matches that was on SmackDown for this week. It's going to be a boring 2-hour program. So, if you want to watch something, go watch a 3-hour tour of Gilligan's Island. WWE has announced that Hulk Hogan will be on Friday SmackDown for an in-ring segment. Well, guess what? He's on the opening segment for SmackDown, as you can see on the SmackDown video. Joshua Brand was sending updates for the Superstars taping, and here they go. The arena was about 2/3 full when the show started. Borgas and Yes chants were non-stop. The lights dimmed at 6:30 p.m. They showed last year's WrestleMania video package recapping all the drama. Lots of booths for John Cena when he was shown facing The Rock. The video lasted about 5 minutes, which was well done. And match number 1 was Heath Slater versus Drew McIntyre, and with Heath Slater with Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, as he beat Kofi Kingston, as Kofi was first out. 3MB crew out. The crowd loved Kofi. Lots of trading back and forth. Slater didn't want to fight. He changed his mind after the crowd booed. Slater got some offense. Kofi fought back, but was distracted and lost. Yeah, you heard that right. You heard that right. Kofi lost to Slater. And that concluded the Superstar taping. Main event was up next. And Raw General Manager Brad Maddox has announced on Raw pre-show that he will be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30. There's still like 4 or 5 guys still remaining to be announced. And Raw pre-show kicked off with Josh Matthews, Booker T, and Alex Riley. And bad news, Barrett. The show. Barrett says, for once, the panel has someone that makes sense. Then we get hype for Randy Orton versus Batista, and a look back at last week's Raw. By the way, happy birthday goes to Randy Orton on Monday. Renee Young was backstage with Orton. He says everyone seems to have forgotten about him when it comes to the WrestleMania 30 main event. Orton says he's going to make people start talking about him again after tonight, where we go back to the panel. We get hype for Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Then we get Jerry Lawler as he's in the crowd with some fans who are excited about tonight. Kane will face a member of the Shield, and fans on the WWE app can vote for which member. We go to the network promos. Panel then talks about WrestleMania week in New Orleans, and we get a promo for John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Panel talks more about Cena versus Wyatt. Barrett says Cena believes his own hype, and that's his problem. It's announced that Bray will be in action on Raw tonight, and we see Michael Cole's recent sit-down interview with Hulk Hogan. Panel talks about Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Riley predicts Big Show will get the win. Booker predicts Show and the Great Khali will be eliminated first due to their size. Booker predicts Big E Langston will win, while General Manager Brad Maddox walks over. He announces himself for the Battle Royal, and we get more promos for WrestleMania weekend. We get more hype for tonight's Orton versus Batista match, and the panel wraps up the pre-show. Tonight's Raw was from Raw. Kick off with Michael Cole briefly welcoming us before The Undertaker starts to make his way out to the ring. We get a look back at last week's Raw as Taker enters the ring and fans chant his name. Lights stay low as Taker begins to talk about the streak. Taker says he doesn't claim to be better than his victims, but at the showcase of the Immortals, he will go further than anyone else, and that's why the streak stays alive. Taker talks about taking Brock Lesnar out to the deep sea and leaving him. Taker says that there are people who believe the streak will be broken, but there are many more people who believe 3 things that can't be beaten: death, taxes, and a streak. Taker says Lesnar will rest in peace, but the music interrupts him, and out comes Lesnar with Paul Heyman. He doesn't do his roll his eyes. He just says rest in peace regularly. Well, that's got to be a prediction for interruption. Well, Heyman spoke from the stage and got booed. He said he doesn't mean any disrespect, but his client does. Heyman said this isn't a match Lesnar has to win. It's a match a Taker can't lose. CM Punk chants start up, but they die down real fast. Heyman says it will be the biggest WrestleMania moment since Hulk Hogan lifted Andre the Giant when Lesnar breaks a streak. Heyman says that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. Heyman drops the mic and he and Lesnar turn around and go to the back, but Lesnar stares Taker down. As the fans boo, Lesnar turns back around and starts to walk down the ramp. Taker ready for a fight. Lesnar stops halfway down the ramp and all his fans chant Taker's name. Lesnar and Heyman go to leave and get booed some more. Lesnar points up at the WrestleMania sign. A youth up chant breaks out. Lesnar walks to the ring but stops and gets booed again some more. As Lesnar is laughing again at Taker now, and Lesnar tees going in the ring, and once again, this time circles the ring. Heyman walks around on the other side. Lesnar taunted Taker some more. Heyman goes to slide in the ring with a steel chair, but Taker goes after him. Taker runs around to a big shot from Lesnar. Then they run the ropes, and Lesnar nails a big clothesline. Lesnar lifts Taker up and drops him with a big F5. As the fans are booing, as Lesnar poses over Taker, Lesnar's music hits, and he leaves Taker on the mat as we go to a commercial break. Big E Langston versus Alberto Rio. As the announcers talk about Taker and Lesnar, they go to the ring. Out comes the Intercontinental Champion Big E for a non-title match. Alberto Del Rio was out next. Del Rio struck first, and they went to work. Big E caught him with a catapult and a 2 count. Big E kept control and hits a big shoulder thrust in the corner. Big E with a 2 count. Big E with a press slam and another pin attempt. Big E missed the thrust in the corner and hits the ring post. Del Rio works on the arm now. And then we get a commercial break with Del Rio in control. Back after the break, Big E hits a suplex. Del Rio came back working on the arm and ties it up in the ropes. Del Rio came off the top rope, but Big E caught him in midair with a knee to the spine. More like a backbreaker. Then clotheslines him, and he ducked the clothesline reversal and hits a belly suplex. Big E ran the ropes and splashes Del Rio, but he got his knee up. Big E dodged the super kick and lifted Del Rio high before dropping him. Another 2 count by Big E. More counters. Del Rio with a backstabber for 2. And Del Rio goes for the cross-arm breaker, but Big E drops him. Big E nails a big splash this time for a 2 count. And then he gets back up and drops the stretch. Del Rio blocks the big ending and applies a cross-arm breaker, but Big E powers up into a power bomb, but Del Rio grabs the bottom rope for a break at 2 count. They tangle in the corner. Del Rio hits a stomp to the chest. Del Rio nails a super kick to the face for the non-title win. Still to come segment, Kane versus a member of the Shield. Fans can vote on the WWE app for which member. Also, Batista versus Randy Orton. It's announced that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon have a planned farewell to the U.S. movement segment. Up next, the Wyatt family. Back to commercial. Back for the break, we see the Wyatt family tying up John Cena in the ropes from last week. The Wyatts appear on the big screen. The Wyatt cuts a promo. They says everyone will see Cena like he does, a monster. Back for the break, and we get a clip of Summer Rae and Natalya from Total Divas. And apparently, Summer Rae has some new music, from what I understand, but I didn't hear it from Raw. Then we get Summer Rae versus Natalya. Summer makes her way out with no fandango going into the ring as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Vicky Guerrero is out for commentary. We go to the ring, out comes Natalya. They go at it, and Summer beats Natalya down in the corner. She shows off and hits a clothesline for 2. Summer with a headlock. Summer goes on, but misses the leg drop. Natalya ran her over and got her back on Summer's back and drop kicks her in the face. Natalya with a pair of suplexes. Summer slaps Natalya. Natalya drops her and slaps her back. They botch a move, and Summer blocks a shot 2, and more back and forth action until Summer gets the pinfall. Like I said, I didn't even see the match. I guess it went so fast. Took the bathroom break myself. We see Stephanie McMahon and Triple H walking backstage as we go to commercial. Back from the break, out comes Triple H to Stephanie. And she says that they're going to give everyone the chance to say farewell to the Yes Movement before her husband destroys Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Triple H says this generation has no loyalty. They just want to feel like they're a part of something. Triple H and Stephanie mocked how big the Fandangoing was last year. They mocked Fandango's name. Triple H asked if we even remember what his name is and how big that was, and says we just threw it away. Triple H says Fandango is a quality talent, a solid B-plus player, and fans don't care. They just move on. I see CM Punk chant then broke up, and they continue to mock the crowd. Stephanie says Bryan will not be here tonight. As the fans boo, Triple H says Bryan and the Yes Movement is just a myth. Well, when they always say they won't be here, well, that's just a cue. Guess what? Surprise! As you'll find out in the closing of Raw. Triple H goes on and on. The boring chant starts off. The Authority shows us a video of several top stars, including Goldberg and Kurt Angle, who are not in the company. They're getting over with the fans for their performances, catchphrases, and the like. Stephanie is speaking on the video and says, in the end, nothing matters because nothing is left except for the game. Stephanie continues speaking on the video and says, one man has taken everyone's false idols and turned them into rubble. So, she goes on praising Triple H. She says Triple H will put an end to our sacrificial lamb, our chosen voice, our chosen one, because in the end there is only one Triple H. We come back and Stephanie says she loves watching Triple H in the ring. Triple H says it's not that any of those guys aren't great. They are, but they were just players in the game, and he is the game. He says he is the game now more than ever. Triple H says not only is he going to beat Bryan and the Yes Movement, he's going to show the world he's the most powerful man in WWE. He says he will walk out of WrestleMania as COO and the World Heavyweight Champion. They go to leave the ring, but out comes Batista. Batista takes the mic and gets some boos from the hometown crowd. He thinks that Triple H is what Triple H is doing is cute. They're saying goodbye to the Yes Movement deal. Batista notices he wasn't in a Triple H's video, and that must be because Triple H has never beat him. Triple H joked about the slap from Stephanie last week. Batista goes on until Randy Orton makes his way out for another interruption. Orton knocks Batista and asks Triple H to reconsider being a part of this title match at WrestleMania. Triple H says no amount of ass kicking will get Orton out of this. Triple H says Orton's reign as champion is coming to an end very soon. Unless Orton can find it within himself to become the Viper again, the Triple H makes tonight's match a no DQ match. Triple H drops the mic and leaves with Stephanie. Orton holds up his titles right in Batista's face. Another show to come segment, a special WrestleMania edition of Piper's Pit with Roddy Piper. Also, Kane versus a member of the Shield. Voting was open for the WWE app as they go back to commercial. Well, in the past, how many times has Roddy Piper had a Piper's Pit with an interruption on The Miz? Well, that happens later in the show too. Usos and Los Matadors versus Ryback and Real America Cesaro Swagger. Back from the break, all four teams are already out. Ryback started off with the Usos and the announced team. Hype for WrestleMania pre-show. Lots of back and forth to start the match. Usos hit a pair of deep arm drags. One of the Usos for a big double super kick. The other Uso with a 2 count. Double tipping by the Matadors. And now as Axel comes in, Cesaro finally tags in and goes at it with one of the Usos. They trade shots, and Zeb Colter cheers on from ringside as Swagger just tagged in, keeps control of the match. Uso and one of the Matadors ended up splashing right back on the floor. And the other Uso with a cross body on Swagger for a 2 count. Ryback leveled the Uso on the floor. People are everywhere as we go to a commercial break. Back for the break, and Cesaro is in control of one of the Usos. Cesaro with a big throw, 2 count. Swagger comes in and keeps up the attack for a 2 count. Ryback comes back in and drops an elbow for another pin attempt on the Uso. Axel tagged in and knocked everyone off the apron, stopping a tag. Uso counters a tag and tagged in his brother. Jimmy unloads on Axel and hits a big Samoan drop. Jimmy with a splash in the corner and hits a 2 count on Ryback, but he broke it up. Uso got a super kick on Ryback. Axel rolled Uso up for a 2 count. Swagger tags himself in. Jay super kicked Axel. Swagger hit a big boot on Jimmy, but the Matadors misses. They stopped the pants as always went to swing one of the Matadors, but the other broke it up and hit and got booed. The other Matador leaped out once and says, "Oh." Swagger missed a Swagger bomb on the Uso, but turned around and Swagger locked it tip. That's blocked with a big insecurity. One of the Matadors comes off the top, but Swagger caught him with a Patriot lock and pulls him back in. Uso runs in, Swagger slams him, and Matador rolls in the ring and plays hurt. While Swagger rolled him up for a pinfall win. He's playing possum as the schoolboy roll up for a win. So the Usos and Los Matadors won. Another show to come segment, Batista versus Orton and another DQ back to commercial. Fandango and Damian Sandow versus the Rose Brothers. Back from the break, and Samoa is dancing in the ring with Fandango while Damian Sandow waits. Cody and Goldust are in their corner. Damian starts the match with Cody. Sandow took control and tags in Fandango. He and Cody went at it. Cody with a big hip toss, but Fandango turned it back around and he got a kick to the head. Fandango whipped Cody hard into the corner. Sandow came back and tagged. Takes Cody's off. Cody out of the ring with a beat down. Another tag to Fandango as they kept Cody down. Fandango with a suplex and a 2 count. Sandow came back in and dropped a knee for a 2 count. Goldust finally tagged in and unloaded on Sandow. Goldust with a big spine buster. Fandango ran in and Goldust took him out. Goldust gets a double cross body and he tosses Fandango to the floor. Power slam Sandow for a 2 count with Fandango both pin. Cody sent Fandango to the floor and leaped onto him. Goldust with a final cut on Fandango for the win. Up next, we get Shield as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and we see the latest beatdown on the Shield. Fans can vote now for which member of the Shield Kane will face. Of course, I was thinking Roman Reigns, and guess what? It was Roman Reigns. But Seth Rollins says that they spoke. It doesn't matter who wins the app vote because Kane is in trouble. He says the New Age Outlaws will get hit if they try to interfere. Dean Ambrose talks about the 6-man match at WrestleMania. And Roman Reigns says that the Shield is not to be messed with. And the Shield stands united, and that's it. And they immediately cut to the Wyatt family graphic as they make their way to the ring. Bray Wyatt versus R-Truth. And Bray Wyatt led the family to the ring as fans clap along with the theme as they go to commercial. Back from the break, and we get R-Truth. Of course, Xavier Woods is also at ringside. Bray strikes first and drops Truth. Truth makes a comeback as Bray gets a kick with a 2 count. Truth with a splash in the corner. They run the ropes and Bray hits a big flying clothesline. Bray turned the Truth and beat him down. Bray with a choke on the ropes. Truth tried to fight back, but Bray beat him down. Bray mounted Truth from behind and beat his head until the referee pulled him off. Bray with a big slam into his knee. Bray with more offense in the corner. Bray ends up getting the win with his sister Abigail. Xavier tries to come check on Truth, but gets floored by Luke Harper. The Wyatt family poses as the lights go out and the music hits. Bray says, "This is just the beginning." All of a sudden, we see someone in a sheet mask stand behind Harper and Eric Owen. The Wyatts all look around shocked. The man takes off his mask and it's John Cena. That part I didn't see. He drops Harper and hits an attitude adjustment on Rowan. Bray charges and Cena goes for an attitude adjustment on him. But Bray slides out and escapes the ring. Cena's pumped up as the Wyatts retreat to the stage, and the crowd goes nuts. Cena's music hits and Bray stares him down from the top of the ramp. Cena hits the turnbuckles and poses. Still to come, Piper's Pit. Fans can vote on the WWE app for Kane's opponent. Back to commercial. Lumberjack match was next. Naomi versus AJ Lee. Back for the break. All the divas are surrounding the ring, and Naomi and the Diva champion AJ wait in the ring. Miss Piggy Guerrero watches from the stage. They go right, and Naomi kicks AJ out of the ring. The Diva throw her back in, and then again Naomi goes out, and Cameron doesn't want to throw her back in. Neither do the other babyface divas. AJ brings Naomi back in on her own, and Natalya throws AJ in. AJ drops Naomi for a 2 count. AJ kept control, hits his neck breaker for 2. Naomi made a comeback and sent AJ to the floor. The divas approach AJ, but Tamina protects her. They all beat down Tamina and throw AJ back in. Naomi with the rear view on AJ for a non-title win. Coleslaw plug. WrestleMania press conference that was up on Tuesday. John Cena up next. John Cena back to commercial. Back from the break, John Cena's backstage with Renee Young. He tells Bray to be careful for what he wishes for. Cena says, "We will see hell and rage at WrestleMania." Cena says, "Being a monster for one day will secure his legacy." Cena says, "If Wyatt wants change, he's going to give it." Cena says, "Wyatt will have to change now how he walks because Cena's going to shove his foot up Wyatt's ass." Then we go back to the panel for more Cena versus Wyatt talk. Kane versus Roman Reigns was up next. Like I said, the app is yeah. We go straight to the ring, and we got Jerry the King Lawler revealing that the fans voted for on the WWE. Roman Reigns got the win. Shield music hits out. Out comes Roman by himself. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Out comes Kane. Reigns goes to work on Kane and beats him down. Reigns charges, but gets flattened by a big boot. Kane turns it around in the corner. More back and forth action. Kane grabs a choke slam. Grabs for a choke slam, but Reigns powers out and goes to work. As Reigns ducks a clothesline and nails a big forearm. Reigns with a running clothesline in the corner and big right hand. New Age Outlaws come down the ramp, but Rollins and Ambrose attack them. The Outlaws end up saving Kane from a triple powerbomb and pulling him to safety. The Shield stares down Kane and the Outlaws from the ring. Still to come segment as Piper Pit. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Roddy Piper's in the ring for Piper's Pit setup. Remember what I think one of the WrestleMania's Piper Pit with using the fire extinguisher thing on what's his name? Oh, yo, dude, give me that smoke. Downey Jr. or Robert Downey, whatever his name is. Piper talks about WrestleMania season and being the first WrestleMania main event. Piper points out it wasn't him who got pinned. Piper gives credit to Andre the Giant for his contributions to WrestleMania. Piper talks about the Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Piper goes to say his favorite in the match, and out comes The Miz to interrupt. Miz assaults Piper and Andre. Sheamus' music hits, and he comes out to interrupt The Miz. Sheamus threatens Miz with a blow again. Out next comes Titus O'Neil. He says he deserves to win the Battle Royal, and he is going to. Piper tells Titus to let him talk, and Titus barks in his face. Dolph Ziggler comes out next. Ziggler talks about how he's going to steal the show. Piper tells them all to shut up and listen up. A brawl breaks out with Ziggler and Titus going at it, and Miz and Sheamus. Some of the other Battle Royal competitors run out, and we've got a big brawl. Rey Mysterio's music hits, and he's returned, I guess, from his contract, and he runs out to join the brawl. Rey and Sakara went at it. Sheamus hits a blow kick on Drew McIntyre. Rey hits the sick one out on Sakara. Big Show's music hits, and he's out next. Everyone attacks Big Show, but he fights them off. Darren Young catches a choke slam. Show unloads on everyone else who comes at him. Heath Slater catches a knockout punch. Ziggler and Ryder catch choke slams. Rey drops to his knees. The Big Show not to, so they are the only ones left in the ring. Rey ends up hitting 619 on Show. On Show's gut and going to the top. but Joe caught him. Joe lifted Ray high above his head and tossed him out to everyone on the floor. Piper comes back in and raises Big Show's arm as his favorite to win the match. Joe becomes favorite again. Orton versus Batista in the main event. Back to commercial. And that match is up next. No disqualification. No DQ match. Go out first comes Batista. Of course, Randy Orton was out next for a non-title match. Now, before the match can start, out comes Triple H and Stephanie McMahon for commentary. Orton strikes first with a kick and tosses Batista into the ring post. Batista falls out to the floor. Orton slams him in the apron. Onto the apron. Batista comes back with a clothesline on the floor. Batista works him over and rolls him in the ring. Fans chant for Daniel Bryan's home. Orton stomps Batista back to the floor. Orton whips Batista hard into the fan barrier. Orton with a clothesline Batista over into the timekeeper's area. Batista comes back in and hits Orton with a steel chair. Batista with a chair shot to the back. He swings, but Orton ducks and he hits the ring post. Orton slams Batista into the announcer's table twice. Stephanie says, "This is amazing. This is fun." Orton slams Batista onto the barrier. More offense from Orton with a chair. They come back in and Batista blocks a chair shot. Batista sends Orton back out to the floor. More brawling on the announcer's table. Triple H tells Batista to let him see the animal. Batista yells back and slams Orton into the apron. Orton comes back with a kendo stick shot and more shots across the back. Batista sends Orton flying shoulder first into the steel steps. And then Batista brings it back and beats Orton down in the ring. Batista goes for a Batista bomb, but Orton counters with a backbreaker. Orton hits the draping DDT for the second rope, and Orton poses. All of a sudden, we hear chaos on commentary as Daniel Bryan has attacked Triple H. Orton came out, but Bryan dropped him. Bryan goes to the back, beating on Triple H. Orton grabs Bryan again and throws him into the steel steps. Stephanie checks on Triple H as Orton rolls Bryan in the ring. Batista spears Orton. Bryan dropped Batista with a flying knee. Bryan run the ropes and leapt off onto Triple H, knocking him into the barrier. Bryan continued the attack on Triple H and beat him with a kendo stick. Triple H stumbles into the ring and back out on the other side. Bryan knocks Orton off the apron. Triple H stumbles up the ramp where Stephanie waits. Bryan poses in the corner and we get a whole huge yes chant. Going, Stephanie yells that this ends at WrestleMania. Bryan's music hits as the Authority throws a fit on the ramp, and we go to replays. Ball goes off the air with Bryan posing in the corner and Triple H yelling from the stage. The backstage past post show opened up with a panel talking about what happened at the Daniel Bryan celebration continues in the ring. Bryan makes his way to the panel set, and he's hyped. He admits he's not 100%, but he's ready for WrestleMania. Bryan says that the Yes Movement is not dead. Bryan talks about how fans are excited that the Yes Movement will win the title at WrestleMania. Alex Riley talks about how Bryan is one of the nicest guys in the company. Bryan says that he doesn't want to be treated special. He doesn't believe in being a superstar because we're all equal. Bryan says fans believe he can beat Triple H and then go on to be the champion. Bryan says the fans believe it, and he believes it himself. Barrett wonders if Bryan's actions were that of a desperate man who can't beat Triple H. Bryan talks about what Triple H did to him 2 weeks ago. Bryan says he has some bad news for Triple H. He can't beat Bryan at WrestleMania. Bryan thanks the panel and gets the Borgasm Yes chants going with the fans that are still there. The panel talks about what happened again. The panel got heat talking about WWE World Heavyweight title. We got more network commercials. The panel talked about tomorrow's the press conference and WrestleMania panel talk about Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. We see a video from earlier where Renee caught up with Lesnar and Heyman after the run-in with Taker. Heyman said Lesnar already has a psychological advantage for Sunday. We get another look at what happened with Cena and the Wyatt family, and then the panel plugs Hulk Hogan's appearance for SmackDown, the WrestleMania pre-show, and more. And that's it for my video for this week. Thanks again. Peace out. God bless.